This is kind of sensitive, but I feel like we definitely have some cultural problems in the church with the whole concept of women and the priesthood. And I think a lot of that culture stems not so much from the women, but some of the men. I don't think we have doctrinal problems. I definitely don't think we have scriptural problems or leadership problems, but I think we have some cultural problems that have been around for a long time. And so why did I write this? I just felt like there was a need for it. I didn't feel like some of these doctrines are so beautiful. There's not just one way women participate with and exercise priesthood authority. There's 7 ways that I go over in my book. And there's this one statement that I love. This is actually from Elder Holland, but here's what he said. He said, "The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is more committed than any institution I know of to the dignity and standing and worth and merit and glory of a woman." And then he says this, "Now we need to do better. Everybody needs to do better. I think this church probably needs to do better. I think we all need to do better to make sure that dignity comes through. I don't think we have done this well enough yet." One of the things that I have noticed, there have been prophets and apostles over the years who have taught certain things about the ennobling identity of women and how they actually do have priesthood power and authority. And yet I would never see these things taught. And I was like, man, there's a wealth of information out there and no one's talking about it. Occasionally you'd hear little blips here and there. In the very first chapter of my book, I talk about the fact that I really haven't seen anything put together in a coherent way with all these things. And so I don't think this is going to answer everyone's problems and concerns and questions relative to women in the priesthood, but I thought, hopefully this will set aside a lot of confusion and help people. I think you could look at the problems in the past with women in the priesthood, the whole idea of misogyny and whatnot. These are messy things. They're uncomfortable things. Are we still dealing with these today? Yeah, but there's a whole culture in the past in which these things come about. And so I think, it's important, like in my book, to, talk about the correct doctrine and talk about what leaders are teaching. I think that's a beginning, but I think there needs to be an acknowledgement too that there is a culture. God doesn't work with perfect people. We have this culture of perfectionism in our church, and sometimes it drives people away, and I totally get that and understand that, but I think it's important that we recognize that there's been not only imperfect people and imperfect culture, but leaders. I think one of the things we're seeing is our church leaders, as much as we revere them, respect them, we love them, but they don't claim to be infallible. They don't claim to be perfect, and so we're a church that's growing. The church is still coming forth out of obscurity and darkness.